Actually, no, that's correction. The 11 a.m. match will be one of the first inverted seats. All right, and we're getting our first instant fire rod in Link's house.
That is a pretty excellent find, although no magic to use it with yet, so not going to be able to make away from much of escape just yet.
But we are going to head up and check out the uncle, and there is at least enough for 1 or 2 fire rod shots in the lamp room. But we're going to set up our tier 1 tree pull via the sign. And we get 20 rupees. We'll take an $80 tree pull.
That usually sets you up with just enough cash to do all your Kakarika stuff. If you need to buy bombs, you can, and you usually find some bonus rupees along the way so that you can check the bottle fender.
And we just get some sticks from our uncle, and we'll see what's hanging out in the chest nearby. And there we have an early lamp. No dark rooms today. The vanilla lamp, not something you see very much.
Yeah,
so we have all the fire.
The lamp can actually pop up in 3 vanilla locations. The first one being in Link's house, the second one being right, and if you still skip it, you can find one in Zelda's chest in the basement.
Aha!
Oh, so super quick map check there. I saw green pent at Eastern Palace and a regular crystal at Tower of Hera, and I do not know what Desert Palace was.
I also missed Desert Palace. But perhaps our tracker certainly caught it faster than we did. We will see. Alright, Rywek heading back outside to pull the tree again. Looks like they're gonna go ahead and take care of escape right now, while Yoshi is making the way over to the Lost Woods. Yoshi also making sure to grab another round of that tree pull. And we see a bottle growing in its natural habitat in the woods. And we'll see what else the thieves are holding on to here. Well, he's gonna go check the hoarder crab to find just single rupees. They're not gonna be chasing that one around too long. As we get a shovel in the escape sequence.
Yeah, and a lot of extra checks coming up here.
There's an interesting little bit of early items here, so we'll be able to knock out that shovel spot quite early, which feels good to not have to deal with a fetch quest late in the game after a previous race where that was a go mode item.
Rywek might find himself in a bit of trouble here in Escape, namely if he wants to do the dark portion of Escape, because he's going to have to try and find some bombs from somewhere, and obviously for Firewall you've got very limited magic to find some bombs. Typically you get them from like the rats or the snakes in the basement, but Rywek's got 1 Firewall shot left, and I don't think that's really going to be enough to get him through there, so he's probably going to put off the back of Escape until later.
And it does not have the key yet, so that unless that pops up in Zelda Cell, the back route doesn't really seem applicable. As we find out, the sick kid's got a sword. Watch out! And we get a fair... is that a bee in a bottle there?
Yeah, a bee in a bottle in Zelda's chest, so Rywek's just going to take the death orb, because no key for the back. We're going to need the power gloves to get in there.
So no key for the back, they're out of there, but we'll see if that shovel comes up with anything interesting later on. It looks like Rywek, though, gonna head back into the back of the escape sequence. I know there's a few fire rod shots available, and there's a master sword in the chicken hut. We have three parts of a potential Econym play, which I find curious.
Never a good sign.
Not really.
Right, Rywek picks up a small magic pot from that and heads downstairs. He can check out the Dark Cross room, but if he doesn't get a small key there, then he will be blocked out from the rest. Ooh, interesting use of the...
It was a golden bee, so...
Yeah. And he's using it to kill all the snakes in this room to try and get some bombs, but doesn't find any.
And nothing coming up on Yoshi's side, so for now there's flippers. And there's a lift upgrade in the dark.
Well,
so that escape sequence... So what I find interesting about that is that with hiding the glove in the Dark Cross room, it now the logic is expecting you to use the the graveyard entrance to get to the back 3 items.
Yep, no small key necessary this time. We are
In fact, the
find a
small key's back there. As we get confirmation.
Rywek took the time to lift up a rock outside Link's house just to get his 1 bomb so he could check out the back of the skip. But I think he's picked up the map, so at the very least he's going to get 1 useless item. If he hasn't picked up the map, it could be 2 useless items. But there will be at least 1 thing he can get down here.
And that'll knock out the escape sequence in a rather odd way, but still gets it all done. Because we'll get the guaranteed key, a heart container, and the hammer! Escape coming up gangbusters here! That's 2 parts of the Dark World puzzle, with Aghanim still potentially in logic. Maybe the Moon Pearl's hiding out on the pyramid, yet to be seen. But oh boy!
We already had a Moon Pearl pyramid just last night or a couple of nights ago. I think like 1 Moon Pearl pyramid in a month is quite enough, thank you.
But call out in chat, it was a decent. I mean, if this were a standard mode race, you'd be thinking that was a pretty excellent time through the escape. With all the warps, they did it in under 6 minutes.
True, but they skipped like a bunch of rooms in the process. You know, you don't have to go into the back and open up the statue and everything else. It's like a cheat escape.
And there's a useful tier 2 tree pull there with small magic decanters, which would be more useful if Rywek wasn't about to head to the village and pick up 2 swords.
Yoshi is headed over to Eastern Palace rather than clearing out escape. Of course, he could just be checking out Shahasrara's hut here.
We'll see how far they decide to dive in. I already know where the green pendant is. We're not going to be worrying about that location. Then we get 20 bucks, 20 bucks, and 20 bucks. Just Shahasrara has an ATM in the back. Alright, and Rywek is resetting the room here, trying to pick up 1 bomb from that rock.
It looks like Yoshi got plenty of bombs in Kakariko already, so... no, but there's 1 bomb, and Rywek could get a plentiful supply in here.
I know for sure there are some in the well. It looks like Yoshi is indeed going to go ahead and make the Eastern Palace dive with the lamp. Everything up to... everything except the boss being fully in logic now.
Surprised he's going for this instead of like doing the South Hyrule checks first. Or maybe even, well, he can't go up to Death Mountain yet until he goes into Back of Escape, but that's available. He can also go to Aghanim and quite a few other places.
That's an interesting dive to choose, but perhaps just trying to take a different route than your opponent, hoping to see something interesting. Unfortunately, in this seed, it looks like Escape's the play. But there's still a lot of checks to be seen, with all the mini Moldorm Cave being completely untouched as of yet. That's 5 checks. As we get a confirmation of a regular crystal in Desert Palace.
So the Mire would be a particularly good find here because it will get you further up Death Mountain. You can check out, Rywek could check out the entire right side with that hammer.
Oh yeah, boy, I didn't even occur to me at the moment that with the lamp and lift upgrade, that's a lot of the mountain available. Rywek's gonna go ahead and clear through the village here and pick up their 2 swords and flippers in just a moment. So that's also King Zora in logic. I mean, a lot of this light world is available to us now. Just where is the large progression key hiding out? Shout out to El Roof for the Twitch Prime sub. Thank you for keeping the lights on here at Speed Gaming.
Yeah, they've been doing it for 18 months.
Well done. And as of right now, we have not seen what's on Lumberjack Ledge. So with the boots not being seen yet, it'd be a while before I think any of our runners choose to check that, with all of them gone through the Lost Woods. Looks like Yoshi's going to be heading into their escape sequence now, and they'll be happy to find that lift and hammer along the way.
Might not get a hammer depending on how long if they decide to go straight to the back or not. I mean, like I said, there's still the whole of the South Hyrule to do, and that's quite lucrative in number of items you can get there. I could see him putting off the back for just a little bit, but the fact he's heading down here already is probably a good sign.
I'd imagine when they finds out that he can't get through the dark escape, he may decide to go clear it out, knowing that there has to be at least 2 items there. We still haven't gotten the payoff on that shovel, but perhaps Rywek will give us that in just a moment here as they clear through the bottom of the Kakariko village. Looking at the pyramid, or the library, and that was only a piece of heart.
Sees a few bombs on this game, leaves that behind, just like Yoshi.
Right, and we will see what that shovel is burying. As there was the map there in the escape sequence. We'll see what if the shovel pays off into something interesting. But like we said, don't count your aga chickens before they hatch, because there's still a lot of the overworld available to us now. That's 20 bucks for striking the earth. Rywek, you've got a lot of options here. We have the south side of the dark world, the south side of light world. He hasn't been to Sahasrara yet, but it looks like Rywek's thinking mountain.
Yeah, he's got to be thinking that Aga's looking pretty likely. Oh no, he's actually heading up to the right. I'm guessing he's going to do a hula play here and head up to Zora.
Wouldn't that be the worst thing, actually?
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. So he's using the bomb here to displace his sprite a bit. So the game relies on you falling into specific coordinates to put you in areas. But if your sprite is displaced a bit, the game doesn't know where to put you. And so you just ended up boosted into Hulahan. So that tops up Rywek's cash, 1 rupee short of Zora. But from here he can do the South Hyrule route and then head over to Zora. So yeah, I like this routing actually.
Yeah, I do like this. You knock out the South Hyrule, you've got to figure you're going to find a rupee somewhere along the line. And for those asking, the Houlihan Room tile is not a hint. It is just a list of past tournament winners.
We've got a red boomerang inside the dam.
Alright, go ahead and reset it and release the flood here. I'm imagining with bombs still hanging out, I think Yoshi's going to go ahead. Yep, they're going to go ahead and knock out the last 3 checks of the escape sequence. No better time, really.
You mentioning the tablets having the past tournament winners makes me wonder, will the winners of the league get to get their will the winners of the league get to get their names described on the...
That's a question for the admin and the developers, I suppose. I would like to see at least the team name inscribed there myself.
Yeah, it is absolutely a team effort, this league. Each team has 3 team members representing them, and 2 of those team members have to play a game each week.
With each team member having to play at least 2 races throughout the entire tournament. Now this is a week 2 match here, and soon enough we will be getting into week 3, which will be inverted. Week 4 being a co-op open randomized all dungeons. Week 5 being the fun time, and that's Crossworld's Key Sanity. And finally, week 6 is standard for palate cleanser.
Inside Mini Model, we don't find too much, just a small shield, bottle of red goo.
That's 3 of our 4 bottles already found by our runners here. So Rywek, I'd imagine, is probably going to head on over and take care of Ice Rod Cave, and then probably swim their way up to Zora with having just over enough money.
And iiYoshii is following in his footsteps, doing the south route. He hasn't done a Houlihan playthrough, so he's going to be short on route if he wants to route in Zora as well. Imagine he probably will, he just won't have enough to pay off the big scam merchant.
Unless he decides to really farm the shopping mall here. But of course, there could be a rupee cache hiding out in one of the checks beforehand as well. There's still a Ice Rod Cave, the ledge. Well, it's only 20 bucks. But there's still a ledge and 2 checks in the waterfall.
So many 20 rupee drops already.
Go ahead and knocking those out early, but it's probably the most plentiful drop in the game. Except for the I suppose the arrows and bombs are pretty close with just how many upgrades they turned into those. One of the big changes going from 29 and 30 is that the the capacity upgrades were removed from the pool and put into their vanilla location just via a shop, as opposed to having to go through this long animation. Don't see them come up very often, but I have seen those used to gain refills when the time is right. As we get the Quake Medallion from the Hobo. What is he doing with that down there?
Maybe he plans to cause some shaking and destroy the bridge. I didn't think he had that much of a vendetta against the bridge. It's a nice shade against the sun lying down there.
No, that's like his home. I mean, why would you want to knock the roof out?
There's our last bottle.
So we found all 4 bottles, but I don't think we're going to be picking that one up.
Mire would still be a really nice pickup though, just for getting onto Death Mountain. It will also get you to Desert Palace later once you've got your Dark World access and Fluted Titans.
There's still a lot of pieces missing for that. And there's the Moon Pearl, so no more Aghanim, as well as we get the Arrow of Destiny, and we're going to get a check on the free refill here.
We can't count out Aghanim just yet, because we haven't seen what's on Lumjack at all from either racer.
So that's one huge strike against it, as we get a nice free red potion. Definitely not going to complain about that refill. Rywek's going to make their way up to the King of all Scams. That's a check that they'll be able to do that Yoshi will not. So with Dark World access via the Hammer Glove combo, and imagine perhaps we'll get a Hype Cave check coming up on Rywek's side.
Most likely, this is turning into pretty much a scour the overworld's seed so far before diving into the dungeons.
That definitely seems to be the case, as there wasn't any payoff on the Eastern Palace play, and that we get just a whole lot of expensive love. Perhaps you could call Zora a gold digger this time? Alright, Rywek's stepping out of his house. And they're heading over to the Cave of Hype. At least potentially. We'll see how it plays out. I mean, it'd be nice to see something come out of there, but we will see.
We don't actually have any means of clearing dungeons just yet. We can't even get over to Thieves Town and clear that out, so definitely going to be holding up for an item here in Hype Cave.
Skull Woods would be completable.
Yeah, oh true, we can take a portal there, and yeah, that would get you to Thieves Town as well. I was thinking needing a hookshot.
There's a bacon sword, first off of the Hype Cave, followed with 3 bombs, the blue mail, the ether medallion, and a heart container. I'll give that about a 6 myself.
Yeah, I'd say about 6. It still doesn't really get us any progress anywhere, but you know, a lot of utility down there. Okay, we have got green pendant at Palace of Darkness. I guess it was blue pendant at Eastern Palace, my mistake. Red pendant at Skull Woods, and 5 and 6 crystals are Thieves Town and Mire.
Pendant Pod. Never feels great. Rywek is going to go ahead and take some Dark World Overworld checks. Overworld seems to be the name of the game.
And Yoshi is going to be heading into the overworld from the other direction, via the Lost Woods.
So they'll be down they'll be down 1 sword upgrade if they decide to go up toward the Moth. I think that blue mail also being pretty key in this early game, because we're not the most healthy, especially on Yoshi's side. Go ahead and turn around for that full magic cannon on Rywek's side. Take it while you can. Just 10 sticks on the Pyramid of Power. Let's see if they head up toward Catfish. It's looking likely. It's stopping to pick up that 20 buck drop, because we still need to spend a few more bits of money along these overworld checks. Interesting to see the early play on the Catfish. We'll see what if anything it's holding on to.
Well, from here, Rywek's probably thinking, yeah, I'm going to dip into Pendant Pod, and if I'm going to dip into Pendant Pod, I may as well get the Catfish out sooner rather than later.
Well, perhaps
Because
Go ahead.
Because the Pendant Pod isn't a particularly appealing prospect by itself anyway. You can't finish the dungeon because no bow, and you have to bottle glitch your way over onto the right side if you want to check that out. And of course that won't be in logic because you're using the bottle glitch, so you can at least do a bit of extra stuff there with the hammer.
But one thing to take a note, currently Rywek cannot enter the Palace of Darkness. He does not have enough money.
Oh, very true. Yes, need 110 rupees to get in there. More if you happen to blunder into an enemy of Kiki and scare him away.
Alright, but that is the end of it. And it looks like Rywek's probably going to head on over to the Village of Outcasts side of the Dark World at this point.
Okay, quite understandable. Like I mentioned, Pendant Pod is a bit of a nasty prospect at this time.
And I have never seen a Gibdo chase somebody into the chest before. You just get another key on Yoshi's side. The catfish even giving you less love than the King of All Scams. So that's 2 fish down. Big chest paying off with a small key. Yoshi's gonna have to watch their health pool now. A lot of these enemies, since he's still on green mail, can take him out in one swing.
And if he chooses to go to Mothler, he's on 6 hearts and he's only got the Master Sword, so it's going to be quite a bit more difficult of a fight for him than Rywek. Really, he needs to just get over to Hype Cave and kid himself out of it.
But thus far, dodging out on the Gibdos fairly well. Rywek opening their way into the Dark World, and they're heading up towards Skullwoods also. As that Gibdo decides to try to take him out and gonna try to make his way into that refill room. Has to be careful with that spike trap. He's down to a single heart now.
I think he's just going to use it to Death Warp anyway. And where's the magic?
Sprite limit. He got trolled by the sprite limit, so there is no magic pot. But that's confirmation that all the items are heading out in the back here, so I think at that point with the sprite limit hit, you just take the Death Warp. And get the health refill.
He's not going to have enough magic to clear out the back of Skullwoods and light the torches though.
See how this plays out for him. Perhaps there's a magic decanter I'm not familiar with around here somewhere.
I think there are a few magic decanters in the next room from the pots, but you have to lift up most of the pots to get to them.
He does have a lamp.
Yeah, there's that one torch that's still out of range with the lamp, and you have to light it with a fire rod, but he can use the lamp for the other ones.
So it will be a bit of a tougher go for him than it will be for Rywek. As we get a whole lot of nothing out of that bottom chest.
Lucky magic drop from the mini Moldorm there.
Yes, I see that those are in the price pool. Are there? I think there are magic decanters in this room as well.
Yeah, this is the room I was talking about with the pots. Another magic drop from the barrier there, which is useful for him.
So the magic pots being in the prize pack coming up pretty large.
Oh, and I think one of those Gibdos drops a full magic. Yeah, they did.
Hello! Almost missed the despawn.
Yeah, he was going for the lighting the torch and then picking up the pot so that he could get a full refill, but missed the torch.
At least he has the extra key, so he doesn't worry about having to fumble around with that Gibdo in that room. So he is into a 6-heart Master Sword Mothula fight. When Rywek will come in there, he'll have 2 more hearts and another sword, as well as the mail upgrade, which doesn't save you from spike traps, but does save you from the moth hugs.
Yoshi's doing an excellent job dodging all these spikes though.
And up until that, managed to land all their fire rod shots. The boss has to be down pretty low on HP, just has to be careful not to bounce him into the spikes, and that's the end of the moth fight. A well-executed moth fight.
Absolutely no problem for him at all. Only gets a pendant for it, but eh.
And the other item in Skullwoods being a whole lot of nothing. Rywek taking the Death Warp out of Skullwoods. they will be equally disappointed with their play. Yeah, both runners have a red potion, though Rywek having an extra red potion via the refill he got from the Waterfall of Wishing, and Rywek just got.
He got indeed. Wallmaster saying, no, we want you to waste a bit more time in this pension dungeon. Back to the beginning you go.
Let me give you a hand to get to the start, and decides to walk back and dispatch that hand. So far, the small magic cannon being the prize pack has been a pretty good thing for these runners. As we see, there's a whole lot of money up on the bumper ledge. I don't think we'll be seeing that anytime soon. Looks like Yoshi's gonna make their way down toward the village of outcasts and start the one half of the 5-6 crystal puzzle, I would imagine. You know, Rywek on the right is tangling the moth.
Against Mothler. Blumel doesn't help him against the spikes. He's still going to take 1 heart of damage, and he's gotten quite a few hits from the spikes so far. But he has got more heart containers, and he's got a tempered sword, so I think he should be good.
Which is the moth being a little less cooperative for him than he was for Yoshi. But gives their piece of heart and their pendant for the trouble. Head on into the chess game, we get ourselves a bomb, and some more bombs. It looks like Yoshi's going to go ahead and head into Thieves Town now. Let's see what the thieves are holding on to today, if anything. Take an inventory. Go ahead.
This is another dungeon where Yoshi's lack of tempered sword isn't going to do him too much harm, because the enemies in here you don't really tend to kill a lot, and they don't have much health anyway, and Blind himself takes the same amount of damage from any kind of weapon. It's just a lack of heart container and lack of blue mail that could put him behind at this point. But given how he hands that moth, I think Yoshi will be fine in here.
I definitely agree. Blind the Thief being one of the more interestingly coded bosses is... He takes damage from specific items, and it's the same amount of hits regardless of that item. Whether it be the hammer, the cane of Samaria, a sword, cane of Burna. It takes 9 hits. No matter what.
Speaking of Blind, I am holding out for some 3-heart cane of Samaria mandatory blind kills in the Inverted Week coming up.
Oh, but how about 3-heart hammer blind? I think the hammer's a lot more rough than a cane.
Ah, but if you miss your cane shots, then you could end up out of magic and soft-locking yourself anyway.
Indeed. I'm admittedly not familiar enough with the Momo sprite to tell you what the bunny was there.
Well, Yoshi is using the Moogle sprite from Final Fantasy VI, and when he became a bunny, he transformed into some kind of opera floozy from Final Fantasy VI.
Huh.
As Jazz is saying, she is called Celis, one of her party members from that game.
Oh, interesting. Good to know. I'll be the first to admit I've only played one Final Fantasy game. So
I've played most of Final Fantasy VI, but not quite to completion. It's my general problem with Final Fantasy games that I get really far in them, and then I just kind of like give up before the final dungeon.
The secret is said to be that the secret of the arrow is said to be its power. Not the most help. And unfortunately, throwing that pot to the left instead of downward. Making our way through this cricket room. Some of the more dangerous enemies, so they do 2 hearts of damage base, and then just kind of move around however they see fit. They're a lot stronger than they need be, I think. It's just $5 here.
Really not finding any items in these dungeons so far. It's looking like everything is on the overworld so far.
Alright, we'll see if Thieves Town pays off with anything. So far, not much. Right now, the overworld has been the only thing with any kind of progression. We're most of the way through 2 dungeons to find a whole lot of nothing. Yoshi is making good use of that hammer when available to just knock down those Zazaks.
It's a smaller hitbox than Tempered Sword, but it does the same damage, so if you're good for it, then by all means use it.
And one thing I will point out is Yoshi has a key in their inventory right now, so we will be visiting the big chest.
It always feels kind of nasty to go through Thieves Town and leave that big chest behind, unless you're sure that you're going to get a map or compass in there. You may also find a small key in there, in which case you're totally locked out room for the whole of the seed.
Absolutely, that's one of the locations that can be locked by its access.
Yeah, another notable one for that is that you can find the big key in Swamp Palace locked inside the big chest.
As well as in the Skull Woods could also be the case.
But as is so often the case when you're heading into Thieves Town with the hammer available to check the chest, you find nothing useful.
It's when you have to come back about 30 minutes later that oh, that's my go mode. Crap. And imagine, we'll see how well Yoshi keeps this on script. Are we doing a blind run of this game? I mean, technically.
Yeah, there's a spoiler log tournament happening at the same time, but no spoiler logs in this one.
And that is a no-hit blind fight from Yoshi.
Yeah,
well executed for a map. Go ahead and pulling out a bomb for their next check.
Now, I am terrible at remembering the actual script for blind, but if you do the correct... The first time you head into blind after revealing his presence from the maiden, if you do the exact same movement and the exact same attacks, you will always be able to avoid damage and kill him in a really consistent manner. If you head into the fight when you've died, or if it's like an Randomizer seed and he's already there, then he doesn't stay on script and you have to do it a bit more on the fly, as it were. But the first time you do the fight in a normal race like this, or he can pretty much just do a specific set of movements and never take any damage and consistently kill blind.
If you get good at keeping your actions consistent, blind the thief is never something you have to worry about. Though throwing inverted in the wrench when you're coming in a lot less equipped. Yoshi making their way slowly up the rupee count, though they're going to lose quite a bit here to the dig game. Unless a few of them drop inside. Between 1 and 30 digs with Alec Baldwin will reveal the prize.
Imagine if he wants to go back to Zora and Catfish, it's going to be some of the last things he does. Luckily, we know from the Rywek side, both of them are pretty much useless, so if he decides to skip them, it's going to be good for him.
No, absolutely. So it looks like Yoshi's going to at least go overhead here and check Stumping, and I imagine they're probably going to make their way over to iiYoshii and wish they had done so sooner. Just a little bit more speed would have been granted to them through clearing through these dungeons. As we find the Titan's Mitts from old Stumpy.
So if you've done the South Dark World route, you've been able to get up to the finish, and nice.
It's an interesting little bit of just how, if you had come up from the south, you would have come up a little cleaner, but now with those Titan's Mitts in hands, we have Ice Palace fully on the menu here.
Yeah, and it is a crystal, so might as well go there. Better than getting pendant pod still.
We'll have to do some we'll have to monkey around with some jumps to make it past some of these places you would imagine you'd have to go with a hook shot to get the more ideal routing. But we'll see how what Yoshi decides to do here, is there are a few other options available as well. Also,
sorry, you go ahead.
So I do think the mountain looks a little bit more pleasing to my eye.
We could still only get like 2 items up there, cause no hookshot or mirror to get over to the other side.
I keep forgetting that. So it looks like Yoshi's gonna go ahead and knock out these other Dark World Overworld checks.
Yeah, If he makes his way up to Catfish, he's going to be losing a bit of time. And probably get him up to par with Rywek, really.
I mean, overall, we're pretty even as Rywek is going ahead and knocking out the checks that Yoshi's already done. We'll be fairly even with Rywek only having the additional check of King Zora at this point.
Yeah, and Yoshi's not going to be able to do that because no Mire, so most he will be doing is Catfish. And yeah, he is headed in that direction.
The part of my mind says, what if it's a vanilla mirror?
That is certainly a possibility. It's a quite mean possibility, as with for most of the vanilla items, because it just tend to come up like exactly when you need them in the vanilla game. So you get the hookshot in the Swamp Palace, you get the hammer in Palace of Darkness, you get the mirror right before you need to get to the top of Death Mountain. But in Randomizer, you want those items much earlier so you can go do a bunch of other stuff instead.
I mean, we have not seen any checks on the Lumberjack, but we have not yet seen the boots. Right now, taking inventory of what we can do, there's two kind of unattractive plays left. We can clear Ice Palace, though it involves some rather sticky routing. And we can do a pod that we cannot finish. That is also the green pendant.
Rywek was making his way south there and then decides to save and quit and give up on it. Wonder where he's going now.
And chat bringing up a good point that parts of Ice Palace could be out of logic depending on how the keys fall.
True. If you, depending on the keys, you might have to do another bomb jump to get over to the right side. Namely, that room with a 4 floating Barry jellyfish. You have to do a bomb jump there. Quite a bit trickier than the normal bomb jump.
But it looks like we are indeed going to be getting a Ice Palace dive from both of our runners here. And we see Rywek making use of that, trying to make use of that stun prize, but unfortunately loses their shield to that enemy.
Yeah, no likes in the base version of Link to the Past. They only appear in like the Game Boy Advance version.
That's a hookshot in left side Mire. And another thing that makes as a demonstration there of Ice Palace making a little more, a little bit of a more attractive play as that has 3 hint tiles within, and one of those hint tiles just told us that we know where the hookshot is now, so we're gonna have to find a flute before we can get that.
We've got some sync going on here.
Oh, do we ever? Look at that! Sync chests. I love it. I'm just gonna go ahead and let this play for a minute. Rywek pulling out a little bit ahead in that Pen Gator room. Wouldn't that be something if we stayed like this kind of sync for the rest of the seed?
It has been a mostly linear seed so far. Both the runners have kind of gone from slightly different directions, but they've really converged here in Ice Palace.
Alright, and now we find out that there is a unique item in the Pyramid Fairy.
Luckily, the Pyramid Fairy isn't too inconvenient to check out this time, because it's Mire and Thieves Town, and we know we're going to be wanting to dip Mire sooner rather than later once we get that flute to get that hookshot.
And we have taken care of the single arrow drop as well.
Ooh, we've got some bomb jumps going on here, but both Yoshi and Rywek struggling with it.
Alright, Rywek our first across the finish line. Yoshi's Moogle just not quite cooperating here. We only get one more shot.
It's a problem with using custom sprites here, because normally if you like using the normal Link sprite, you can align the top of Link sprite with the bottom of that wall there, and bomb jump your rear across like that. But if you're using a custom sprite here, like the Moogle for example, you can't do that, and the bomb jump becomes a bit more of a case of positioning your sprite's shadow.
But not to be, we do point out that Rywek is kind of using an altered Link. I think it's a 4 swords.
It's from Minish Cap, I believe.
I know, there's so many links, it's hard to tell. I was at least right, it was on Game Boy Advanced. Maybe I'm wrong on that, too.
I've got to wonder about Hyrule genetics. How does the same guy, blonde hair and predilection towards green hoods and green clothing always tend to pop up every couple hundreds of years?
Perhaps it is destiny? And there's the big key. Nothing else really coming up.
Yoshi's a little bit behind, and he also had to actually use the crystal switch instead of going for the bomb jump. So if he chooses to finish the dungeon, he's going to have to do the Ice Palace loop, as it were. Perhaps he's hoping he gets some extra hearts along the way and can do another attempt at the bomb jump. In fact, I think he has a red potion, so he could have used that.
I think Yoshi maybe... I suppose there's so many bottles, it's hard to tell what they're still holding on to. Ice physics just not quite cooperating here.
Yeah, there's one red potion, one bee in a bottle, and one empty bottle.
Which I know Rywek filled the empty. And our final hint here, a unique item is held by someone friendly. I believe we've already seen that.
I mean, that's as vague as a hint can possibly get, so... although we may have picked up a unique item from someone, another friendly person could hold another unique item. We don't know yet. It could be Shahrazad with a green pendant, it could be the locksmith outside the desert. Many possible options for that. It could even be your vanilla mirror, like you mentioned.
I said the old man on the mountain. One thing I'd like to put, I want to say that someone friendly doesn't get the purple chest guy.
Got another opera floozy popping up here in the basement of Ice Palace.
Let me go pull up that document here.
Now, Yoshi's actually jumping into the pit here, so he can fall into the pots in this room and get down into a hidden room where he can pick up some fairies and restore his health.
So someone
too often.
Nice. Looking at the document here, someone friendly is not the chest. However, Stumpy is definitely someone friendly, and he had the Titan's mitts.
Very true.
And Quake on the hobo. So we've seen that come up twice already. Alright, Sir Rywek just about to cold stare now.
And Yoshi's having to take the long way around because of skipping the bomb jump, so he's losing some time.
At least we were pretty synced coming in, but just that small glitch in execution opening up a gap here, but perhaps the later divergence could give Yoshi another chance. Though there isn't a whole lot else left to us here. Alright, the cold stare's not quite backing into the corner for him. Thankfully on the blue mail, which we'd normally find in this dungeon to help, oh, he's getting pushed into the corner by the cold stares. Gonna go ahead and drop his red potion. Definitely cannot blame them for that call. Alright, and finally down goes the final puff for Rywek. Gets some blue boomerang for his trouble. Or is that the cane? It's so hard to tell.
Boomerang, yeah. Gets a second Christopher, just as Yoshi is jumping into the fight himself.
See how Yoshi's fight goes. They're also on their tempered sword. See if they can't get him to cooperate a little bit better. And that's a little bit of time gained back by Yoshi by just a very clean cold stare fight.
Oh yes.
Well done on Rywek.
Either.
No, I definitely think that was great execution there, and probably got about 10 seconds back. We will see where Yoshi decides to go next. It looks like Rywek's making their way over. They haven't done Eastern Palace yet.
Nah, Yoshi checked this out earlier. He got like 60 rupees from Michelle Shashka's hut, but I don't think anybody's looked in the Eastern yet at all.
I thought Yoshi walked in.
Maybe he did. Maybe he checked out the front chest.
Yeah, Yoshi found all 3 items, and it was a whole lot of nothing. So it looks like Rywek's about to burn some time that Yoshi already has. So, and Yoshi's making their way up the mountain now. Perhaps we're gonna see.
Oh, we're getting our first lumberjack check.
I figured all this. There's no better time for Yoshi to check this than now when he's already, I imagine, already planning to hit up the mountain.
Oh,
and that's the bow! Well, we have ourselves an Agaseed, folks! But when do we decide to route that in? Because we don't have access to the boots yet, which are now 100% required.
Yoshi's probably going to be hoping to find the boots or something like the Mire up here on the mountain.
Well, only 2 checks available plus a hint tile as of now, unless the mirror pops up here on the mountain, because we know the hookshot will not, because that's in Misery Mire. So thus asking, what is an Agaseed? Because the bow is hanging out there on the lumberjack ledge, the only way to gain access to that is to have the boots, and the lumberjacks do not finish cutting down their tree until, or chopping open that tree until after Ganon has been defeated.
Having to go up the Hyrule Castle Tower and kill Ganon is pretty much an extra 8 minutes on your race time. You really want to avoid it as ideally if you can possibly do so, but having a mandatory item on the bow on the lumberjack ledge there means no matter what, you're gonna have to do Ganon.
But hear me out on this one. Neither of the crystal neither of the bowlock dungeons are crystals. And if one of these runners would be versed in that new glitch of clipping out the mimics in Ganon's tower.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how kosher that glitch is. I have seen it before, so...
nice, now... Yeah.
That was another Swamp Palace hint on the left side.
The swamp, the cache and the big key. So we don't know... The lumberjacks right now have the bow locked behind them as Rywek gets the news that there's nothing there. Yoshi heading into the Dark World now. Having gone up the mountain and found nothing but a little piece of information, it looks like we're going to the Palace of Darkness.
Fear Agent, our admin, tells us that yes, the glitch is allowed in this league, so if our runners know how to do it, they can skip bow.
And if they're confident enough to do something like that, that could come up a very huge difference maker, though. I'm not sure how well either of these runners are versed in this glitch. So we're gonna have almost Yoshi's gonna be into the Palace of Darkness just a little bit sooner than Rywek. Given that Yoshi should still have their potion, I know Rywek probably has their second potion that they picked up from the fairy fountain. So everything except for the Helmasaur King will be available to these runners. Hoping to find the boots inside, or just something, or perhaps the flute to give us access to the hookshot in Mire.
The fact that Yoshi is heading into here straight away rather than, say, doing Ganon and picking up that bow implies to me that he's comfortable with doing the mimic clip. So it will be interesting to see where Yoshi's routing takes him.
But the tracker keeping me in check here. We're going to have to find those boots somewhere in order to get Mire, because the hookshot's locked inside and we have to clear that gap somehow. So right now, taking inventory of what is available what checks are available, it looks like the Palace of Darkness is about it. Although he's taking a look at... We don't have the mirror, so we can't get into Swamp Palace. We don't have the mirror or hookshot, so we can't get to the Tower of Hera. We don't have the book, so we can't get into the desert. And we haven't been to Agina yet, and a chat bringing up, yes, we have a bow-locked pod here.
So, if we find anything in pod here, and it's looking pretty likely we'll find something in pod, then yeah, the game is totally, the game is expecting you to get that bow either way, but yeah.
So, with this, the boots aren't here. This tells us that the boots aren't here.
So, the boots have got to be on Agina then, I guess.
Yeah, so the boots have been available since the beginning. Chat bringing up a good point. It is good information to see what the bow is locking here.
Very interesting to work that out, actually. I wonder if either of our runners have worked out that the boots have got to be on Agina at this point.
Now, what I find interesting is, what if nothing comes up here in pod? What if this is completely useless and all the items we need for Go mode are locked behind our crystal dungeons?
Well, I guess this could be a lesson against sequence breaking in that case.
It is an interesting little bit of it's an interesting thought, at least to me, of what if this is all as a waste and that Bo is only locking the Ganon's tower climb.
But we are seeing some very identical decision making from Rywek and Yoshi at this time. If you look at their menus, if you look at their items, both of them have the same items, both of them have the same hearts, mail, swords. They've done pretty much everything the other one has. I think the only difference is Rywek's done Zora, Yoshi hasn't, and Zora was just a big bit of love, actually. Actually, Yoshi has picked up a heart container from somewhere else to keep Patty, but yeah, they've pretty much done the exact same things as each other.
I think that extra heart container came from just pieces that Rywek chose to ignore.
Ah, okay.
Rywek definitely did not choose to pick up the heart piece from the catfish, while Yoshi decided to catch it. But it is possible that the boots are not directly on Agina. However, that unique item being on someone friendly could also have been our guaranteed boots hint to the seed. Even though a unique item on someone friendly has already come up twice. More keys. Big key. Oh, a whole lot of keys and a whole lot of crap here in pod.
Piece of heart and harmless hellway. Got 2 more items coming up and then we are stuck. Because unlike Ganon's Tower, you cannot get over to Helmasaur at all without the bow.
Alright, Agina, chat coming on the correction. Yes, Agina can't be that because it comes from the cave. That requires a bomb. Because it's not in the chest, not from talking to the NPC itself.
Oh, yes, true, yeah, right.
Alright, so we're making our way through the dark maze. And there's the Cane of Samaria! So the bow is indeed locking one item that we do need. However, via the potion glitch sequence break, we don't need that. We didn't need the bow for this point, so we're still looking at potential for something being of use, and just because of just slightly cleaner routing, Yoshi's had a pod first. Or perhaps Rywek just forgot they were done.
I think so, because like they headed up to the room and then realized, oh wait, I've already been in here, and then take 7 crit. So Rywek was a little bit ahead in doing this checks, and now that one little bit of oops, I already did this, as he allowed Yoshi to get a bit ahead instead.
But interesting that Rywek choosing to go to the sanctuary while Yoshi is making a beeline for Agina. Oh, Rywek's gonna go head on up the mountain right now.
Probably check that lumberjack too, probably see the bow is there. Or not. Nope, he's skipping out on Lumberjack.
So Rywek has not yet seen that the bow is on Lumberjack. Alright, so what is the Desert Hermit been holding on to this entire time? Just a piece of heart.
That's nothing at all.
So,
Is that
or we don't have access to it. What if the blacksmiths are cobblers? With the Titan's mitts, we could save and quit and grab the blacksmith and take him home.
Is Yoshi heading back into Ice Palace? What item did he miss in there?
I think he's going to check Zora.
Ah, okay, yeah. So he's heading to the Whirlpool. Yeah, he was taking the time out to pick up a bit of extra cash and pod, so this was on the back of his mind.
Alright, so making our way up to Zora while Rywek getting the, not a whole lot of information here on the mountain. It looks like the Smiths are the play, and that's one you might often forget. Alright, so Rywek heading out of their house.
This isn't the best way to get to Smiths from here, so he must be on his way to Agina too. I was so sure that Agina would have an item.
If I'm playing the seat, I'm thinking, oh crap, it's Agina. But no, it's the blacksmiths of all things. So now we have to walk down to the village, grab the frog, Mire, and then save and quit, walk back again. This has been a really tough seed, I would say. We're bottlenecked to we have to find the boots at the boots or the Mire at this point.
Really linear, really bottlenecked.
It has to be the boots or it has to be the Mire. There's nothing else that could lead to progression at this point unless it's a fetch quest.
Rywek actually took that south dark portal there to go get the blacksmith, and Yoshi's heading here to the other direction. So Yoshi's going to be about 30 seconds behind.
And of course, yes, it could be the book forcing us to go into Desert Palace. Alright, the blacksmith going through an interdimensional journey. 1 second he's stuck as a frog in the south of the light world. The next second he wakes up and he's in the sanctuary in the light world.
Did Rywek check out Hammerpegs? Because Yoshi's taking the time to do this. I think I saw Rywek doing Hammerpegs.
That's another location. I don't think anyone's been to the Smith area yet. So if this comes up being the play, Yoshi won't, or Rywek won't be able to check this right away. And that's that's a mush. That's a fetch quest. Oh boy! All right, what kind of craftsmen do we have here? We have cobblers. Rywek showing his displeasure as he's dashing out the door. With the dwarven cobblers coming up big for Rywek. So he's dashing on up, and I think... oh boy. I think Rywek is now going to head up to Lumberjack Ledge and get confirmation that I have to go there now. So now we're stuck with, where's the flute? We will now have Helmasaur King available as well as the Armos Knights, and we know it's not there because we've already gotten all the items out of there. Unless that mushroom's the flute.
Did we pick up both the map and compass in pod?
I know I'm not 100% sure.
I recall seeing the compass. I'm not sure about the map.
Alright, so Rywek getting confirmation that if he wants the bow, it's an Agaseed. And
Yoshi gets his boots about minute later than Rywek. And Rywek's going to do his boost checks first. And Yoshi's going to do some fake powder.
Nice use here. We'll see if that comes up with anything, though. I mean, what if there is something on it and it's a vanilla powder? How dare you awaken me from my slumber? I shall grant upon you the worst curse of all, and that curse is... the magic mirror! That could be a massive sequence break for Yoshi. It may take a long time for Rywek to be able to fake powder.
Like, the reason Yoshi was quite a bit behind on getting his boots compared to Rywek was Yoshi took the time out to do the hammer pegs. Rywek didn't, and Rywek hasn't, of course, cannot do fake powder without that mushroom, so... Magic Bat isn't even on his mind right now. So whilst Rywek is heading up to Aga Tower to go get his bow, Yoshi is going in complete opposite direction.
I think Yoshi may be thinking purple chest into Swamp Palace. Well, they can't complete Swamp. They need to get to Mire.
But first he's going to check out Graveyard Ledge and probably King's Tomb and Bonk Rocks at the same time.
I can ride up all these Dark World, and then he could probably route in the Mushroom check as well. And if that's a vanilla powder, that could take Rywek a long time to find.
Yoshi is definitely putting off that bow.
He knows where it is. He's probably putting off until they absolutely need it. I mean, this has been quite the seed, and I definitely think that these runners putting themselves out there and fighting through this nasty seed deserve your love and support on Twitch, so please give them a follow. Oh, that's evil. As someone in chat suggests that the powder is on the pedestal.
I don't think pedestal can be powder, because one of the pendants is and you need a bow to clear a pot. Wait, what am I saying? Never mind.
Because it's just the mirror.
I'm getting mixed up
which
here.
is
Just
Swamp
a mirror.
Palace.
Just a mirror. Yeah, never mind. Talking nonsense, never mind me.
It can happen. I mean, this seed has been quite... has kind of thrown my logic mind for a loop. Rywek having no problems clearing through Aga's Tower. We'll see where Yoshi back into the Dark World. Where are they heading next? Abandoning the mushroom for now.
Thinking of what could be on pedestal, like we could clear Skullwoods early on because the very first item we got in the seed was the Fire Rod. Eastern Palace and Palace of Darkness can both be completed because we can get the bow from the Lumberjack for that. So there could be quite a few things on the pedestal. It could be Ice Rod, it could be Hookshot.
Can't be Hookshot, it's in Mire.
Oh yeah, true, it's yeah.
Ice Rod, Flute could be on the pedestal. Alright, so how many blue balls will Rywek get here? None so far. There's our first. Nothing there. There's a second blue ball on Rywek's side.
And just 20 rupees in K45.
There's our guaranteed reflectable. That's another reflectable, just I think one more left. Oh, I've lost count. No, one more shot to go here. And that's another, nope, he just happens to be in the lightning face spot and gets another blue ball, so let's say it is 3 blue balls, folks. And we get 20 bucks as the tip for returning Gary's lunchbox. Now Yoshi pulling up the mushroom here. gets 5 rupees for running into the bunny there. They're gonna swim up and turn in that mushroom. Alright, Rywek has cleared Aghanim and now will have access to the bow. Not required for dungeon completion unless the Helmasaur King has an item. Until we get to Ganon's Tower.
There could be an item on Helmasaur, it could also be an item behind Green Pendant, and there could also be an item on the pedestal, so plenty of potential there.
There's nothing guaranteed as of yet. Alright, and our mushroom turn-in is the flute! These fetch quests coming in hot! What even is this seed? Oh, wow.
Rywek's best chance at this point is going to be that there's going to be items locked behind Helmasaur, the Green Pendant, or the pedestal. Because I think Yoshi is definitely going to put off this bow for as long as possible, or may not even go for it if he really wants to go for Ganon's tab and clip the mimics through the wall to get through the upper portion.
I think at this point, if you're on Yoshi's side, go activate your flute. I guess he's gonna grab this, go into Dark World. Or no, what is he? Oh, wants the magic. Got a little bit of game knowledge to get a magic refill. So he's gonna go ahead and activate his flute. I imagine he's gonna make a beeline for Misery Mire.
So get your
pick up that hook shot.
Get your 07s in chat, for the Scourge of Hyrule is unleashed once more.
God, we all fear the horror that is the Swag Duck. Appease him before we all perish. Alright, so what can we surmise about that magic powder's location? We know
it could be pedestal, it could be Green Pendant, it could be on Helmasaur.
Alright, Rywek gonna grab their mushroom here. Will they make the sequence break play? They don't have access to the mirror because it's blocked behind that.
Ooh, he's saving quitting away. Yeah.
He's grabbed the purple chest and save and quit so he can take that home. Now, if Rywek turns in that mushroom, that could spell something rather unfortunate for Rywek.
I mean, turning in that mushroom is absolutely mandatory because he's got the flute, but it also means he's got to find the powder from somewhere. This could be like a really race-defining sequence break here.
Definitely a story. I will call this seed Fetch Quests and Sequence Breaks. How do you want to play it? Alright, so Rywek heading towards the desert now. I think they had not visited Nagina yet, and we're getting confirmation that we have access to Misery Mire as it is Ether Medallion. Unfortunately, no bird toss for you today, fans. The reason why we could not immediately fake powder is because the mirror is locked behind the magic patch, and that was the only way Rywek could have accessed the bat right when they were there. So we do know that there is a unique item still on the pyramid fairy, which Yoshi will have access to once they clear through this dungeon. And they will get the hookshot as one of the 2 items inside. We know that's on the Firelock side. And it looks like Yoshi's making a beeline. Nope, we're going to go ahead and take care of the bridge chest at least first.
Now, Rywek's going for the Green Pendant play here.
Well, if this comes up with something, it could help bring them back into this race. I think at this point, you're looking at... that would have been a Godmire, but we need to go to the left side to pick up the hookshot. Now, Yoshi could... one little bit of routing that is open to Yoshi now. After completing this dungeon, they could pick up the bomb from the 5-6 crystals, and then blow up the hole in the pyramid, then just mirror and take care of Aga. I think that's a pretty nice routing here, if we really want to have the bow, but I think we found all the items in Eastern, harkening back to the long way back, but I'm not 100% on that.
Both runners cleared Eastern, and I really didn't pay attention to either of them at the time, because the other runner at the same time was doing so much more interesting.
Right, and looks like a confirmation from our tracker, all 3 items in Eastern Palace are gone. So that is 100% dead.
Yeah, both Yoshi and Rywek quit out before even checking out the vanilla big key chest, so... Because they knew that the...
Yeah, go ahead.
They knew that the map and compass would be coming up from the remaining items, and the big key, of course.
Alright, so the hookshot is locked behind the cutscene chest. That's confirmation there. So I think Yoshi, after they finish Mystery Mire, will probably mirror the desert, take care of that, then perhaps 5-6 into Aga if they really feel they need to pick up that bow. We'll see on Rywek's side if it is at least required, if the Helmasaur King is holding on to something of note.
Alright, we've got 6 cutscenes coming up here. Here on Speed Gaming.
Shaking the dungeons!
The fastest cutscenes in the whole of Twitch.
And Yoshi escapes through the cutscene race first. A piece of heart is held by someone friendly. Thanks!
I think we've seen that. That was King Zora.
No, that was the catfish. The piece of heart was on the catfish. Zora had full love.
Ah, right, yes. Big love, little love, doesn't really matter.
Zora the gold digger this time. Alright, so Yoshi with their hookshot has to make their way back to Vitreous. Meanwhile, on Rywek's side, one of the first payoffs of the bow. We'll see if something is there.
If Helmasaur doesn't have something, he can at least hand in the green pendant after.
So we'll get a double dip of potential payoffs. Actually, he'll have to save and quit in order to get to Sahasrara, because they don't have the mirror. There's a second item on Yoshi's side.
At the same time, he could knock out Eastern Palace while standing in at Sahasrara, in case he wants to do a blind pool of pet.
And that would be a blind... He'd have access to the blind pool, as he's already taken care of Skull Woods. That's just 3 bombs from the Helmasaur King, so potential time lost. Though we still have to see the green pendant payoff. I would think it would be a bit of a gamble to go for the blind ped pull.
Yeah, there's plenty of other stuff that Rywek can do first, so yeah, it would be a bit of a gamble. But at the same time, if he's handing in the pendant, and Eastern Palace is right there, it would be the most convenient time if he was ever going to think, yeah, I'm going to go for the pendant and pull the pedestal.
But here's the thing, I mean, perhaps Rywek's feeling behind after having a last location that bow and boots for so long. Perhaps he's thinking Yoshi made that play a lot sooner. Though, unfortunately, what put him behind is not the play he may be thinking, but just to give a review, a massive sequence break. Yoshi, because it's just the different way they routed to getting to the smiths that had the boots, picked up the mushroom from the hammer pegs and was able to use that to fake powder the mirror out of the magic bat, while the mushroom itself is locking away the flute.
Now that green pendant was totally useless. It only gave 20 rupees, and Rywek is committing to all 3 pendants.
So if you're a Rywek fan, you're really hoping for like an ice rod pedestal. Yoshi has to be careful here. They're down to a single heart.
Yeah, he's gone from last location to last heart. Any hit here from the eyeballs or the lightning will finish him off, and I don't think he's got a potion left, because he used it to get through Paths of Darkness.
Did not pick up the free refill from the waterfall fairy. Whoa, that eyeball got close. Alright, time to deal with the bouncing Vitreous now. Good form thus far. Keep it up, Yoshi.
Honestly, Yoshi's boss execution so far has been on point.
And continuing that pattern, that's the end of Vitreous. Well done. Getting the small key we knew we had to pick up here. Alright, so that's another crystal for Yoshi. They're fourth. I imagine a Mire to Desert Palace is what's next on their agenda. Coming in, executing the entire Vitreous fight with no bow and a single heart for the entire run. Well done, and here we head on into the Palace of Desert. Don't have to worry about boots locking, because we're rocking them right now.
Rywek's headed all the way around to pick up his big key, which he knows is going to be in this chest, and he also knows that the map and compass are going to be from the big chest in Armos, so he only needs his big key to get over to Armos. So he's really angling on his pedestal here.
And there's the big key, and we'll get a hint tile here to find out a piece of heart requires the hammer. Not the most helpful hint. And getting a reconfirmation of the hint he did not check earlier, perhaps.
We've got a butter sword here in Desert.
So that's one of our 2 items down in Desert, and more offense. And Blue Mail, we're on 12 hearts. Yoshi's feeling strong. And given the items that they've picked up for this, via the sequence break, we'll definitely have to, we're going to head right side now and try to find our second item. Alright, so if you are a fan of the French Canadians, you want to see something here, you want to see something on the blind pedestal that Rywek's about to attempt. And for those going through it, yes, the bow is logically required for Ganon's Tower. However, if you're versed in the newly discovered mimic clip, which one of our runners may be so, that is allowed via this league, so that could end up negating the need for the bow and the Aganim dip, because Aga is locking the bow via the lumberjack ledge. Those of you asked about the mimic clip, it was recently discovered that as you're making the tower climb in Ganon's Tower, the 2 rooms with the red Garayas, there is a way to clip them off the screen and that will cause the door to open. Similar to the mimic clip in the Palace of Darkness, only instead of off-centering the camera, you're physically moving them off the screen. Alright, so Yoshi is making the way back to Landmolus. Rywek making the way up to the pedestal.
I would find it really, really funny if the pedestal is something like iSword at this point. Because it's still a 100% nest how to walk as a crystal, but it's not going to help Rywek at all. But Rywek is going for that mushroom. Well, rather the fake mushroom.
Alright, so that fake powder is definitely, this is something that Rywek definitely wants to do. Now, it would be hilarious, however, if the powder is unpetted. Alright, so that's another crystal for Yoshi. No other progression items found in Desert Palace, but that's 5 crystals. They're down to the that's 4 crystals, excuse me. So they're down to the Tower of Hera, Swamp Palace, and Turtle Rock, and I imagine Swamp Palace is probably next on Yoshi's list.
You can also go to the Pyramid Vein now after completing Mire.
And it looks like that's what they're thinking. Actually, I disagree with what Yoshi's doing right now. I think you check the 5-6 crystals before you go to Aga.
Yeah, I'm interested he's doing Aga now. I mean, I would have thought he'd do it much sooner.
Because what you can do is, with his mirror in hand, you go south, grab the bomb, mirror, go up to the light world, and then he doesn't have the Aga yet. So he has to, I suppose this will make the check of the bomb faster, because he won't have to go the long way around.
Yeah, you get to use the portal underneath Hyrule Castle gate to get in there.
Alright, if you're a pedestal fan, get your hypes up that we're pulling our way blindly to find 50 bucks!
Oh dear, so Pod was totally useless.
So the pod dip, the double dip of pod, is now time lost for Rywek. So I'd imagine Yoshi's just going to pick up their bow so they can clear through Ganon's tower. I do not foresee Yoshi revisiting.
He could revisit Pod because there's a green pendant. I don't believe he'll go for the pedestal like Rywek.
I have a feeling that I think at this point you have to go. You're going Swamp Palace first. You can complete it. It's 6 items. And I say Hera and Swamp are what you go for first. Now we're on the. Now with what we got right now, we're on everyone's favorite hunt. Where in the name of Din, Furore, and Nehru is the Ice Rod?
And half the time the answer is Laser Bridge, and everybody hates on Laser Bridge because it's so generic. Rywek's stocking up on potions here.
So I think for the next W on Yoshi, I think he takes care of the big red bomb, and then does Swamp Palace. Or maybe just Swamp into Bomb. We did get a left side hint for Swamp Palace to find out that there's the big key. And I think some other trash. What is on Lumberjack Ledge? The bow. Alright, so Yoshi can make their way up. We know there's 3 blue balls if they make all the reflections, which I imagine they will, as Rywek lets loose their goose. We'll see where Rywek chooses to go next. I'd imagine Misery Mire is probably first on their list because they want that hookshot out of the cutscene chest.
Absolutely, if he remembers that hint. And hopefully he remembers the hint, because I've been useless at remembering the hints this race so far.
I think that's one hint that you absolutely have to remember, because that's the hookshot, and that's a huge item.
Oh, yes.
100% required, because we have to clear Swamp.
Yoshi's showing a bit of frustration with this door here.
Just a matter of waiting here for Aga to give him all the reflectable shots. So we still have a lot of there's still a lot for Rywek to have to complete that Yoshi's already done, as Rywek has to clear through the Mire and Desert combo. And having lost time to the Palace of Darkness, and I don't believe that we're gonna see Yoshi make the ped play. I think Pod is a long way down the list of things to do with access to the tower. Whereas right now we have Swamp Palace, the entirety of Death Mountain, including Turtle Rock. I was asking in chat, Rywek just moments ago blind pulled the pedestal for $50. So I think right now the play is to do Big Red Bomb and Swamp Palace here on Yoshi's side, and then just clear Death Mountain, including, and the final play being Turtle Rock up to Laser Bridge. Because I think somewhere along that line the Ice Rod has to fall, because there really isn't anywhere else left. Because we've already finished all of our fetch quests, and 2 of them coming up big.
Yeah, Yoshi's choosing to go to Swamp Palace first before doing the Big Red Bomb, which is reasonable.
Yeah, start south and make your way north. So we do know the left side is trash plus the big key. I mean, this is just... gambles, I think, that on one side paid off and one side didn't. Rywek gambling the pedestal, not coming up big, while Yoshi just taking some different routes throughout this sea, left them at the point that we're at right now. And just how they decided to route in doing the boots on the Dwarven Craftsman that we knew was going to be a thing. Or pretty much knew at that point. and then just having chosen to go to hammer pegs first. So then when they turned in the blacksmith, they were able to fake powder and pick up the mirror, which opened up a world of routing to them. So it is not to say that that Rywek is completely out of this race, because there's still a lot of execution between this and the end of the seed, though. Yoshi's execution, especially on the bosses, has been very clean thus far. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it can still come down to something like if Yoshi decides to, say, like he goes to the full left side of Ganon's tower and finds, and the big key is actually in the right side of Ganon's tower, then Rywek does have first. That will close up the gap a little bit at this point. And Yoshi has done a couple of other things that Rywek hasn't done, like the purple chest, for example. I don't think Rywek has done that, so could still save some time here.
And I would imagine, if you're in Rywek's shoes, you're feeling a little bit behind, so perhaps you're going to make some ballsier plays toward the end of the seed. And there's half magic out of the swamp, so a nice extra little bit of safety.
Very convenient half magic. If you're going to be checking extra chests in swamp before you head into the back, that's usually one of the ones to go for, and getting half magic there is so convenient.
Well, I imagine if you're on Yoshi's side, you're hoping to check off all the items, because you need the... Because we know that the big key is on the left side, so you're hoping that the big chest will end up being the map or compass.
Yeah, it was some cash and the big key on the left side, so trying to avoid that for now. Hoping the map and compass don't pop up.
Oh, there's one of the two. And the Book of Medora!
So I don't think Yoshi's going to be at any risk of blind pulls here off the pedestal.
No, absolutely. I think that just puts the nail in the pedestal coffin for Yoshi. I don't think they'll be there and over there anytime soon, though that does open up an extra check for Yoshi after they complete the Swamp Palace, as they'll have access to the Bombos tablet. And there's yet another place that the Ice Rod could indeed be hiding.
Rywek taking a bit of a different approach here to Vitreous, a much faster approach. He's got a lot more health. He headed into this fight with full health, so all he did was just wade into the goo there and start spinning at the eyeballs. He could take the hit, so he got the eyeballs down much faster than Yoshi did.
Fortunately, ran out of arrows, but took a couple swipes. Alright, so now we're getting into the last phase of Argus here with Butter Sword in hand. I imagine a quick kill. Well executed by Yoshi. Just another little bit of just perfect execution on Yoshi's side.
So I didn't see the compass there, so I think that's what's going to be in the big chest. So no need for Yoshi to go back inside.
And that will be a nice little bit of time saved via the information we found earlier. Yep, they're piecing out, putting out the mirror, and they're going to take care of... They're going to the bomb first. Interesting choice. So they've now orphaned the Bombos tablet for now. And also an interesting little bit of decision-making. Rywek also heading for the big red bomb. They're ignoring Desert Palace for now. And Rywek also left himself a little bit broke for the big red bomb.
Not enough cash, stranger.
So perhaps they're gonna... It looks like Rywek, now with that in mind, is probably gonna head down to Swamp Palace. Nope. I do agree with this play by Yoshi's side to go ahead and take care of the big room, as we know it's a unique item. Well, it is orphaning the Bombos tablet for now, and we are looking for the Ice Rod. As we get a piece of heart and the silver arrows out of the pyramid first. So we have vanilla silver arrows. Not what you're hoping for that unique hit find, but you'd imagine your opponent is also going to make that play. So I think you don't feel bad about that at all.
Yeah, this is going to make Ganon pretty much trouble-free for Yoshi. So it looks like Yoshi's going to be heading up the mountain now. He'll probably check out the ether tablets as opposed to the bombus tablets. He'll clear out the mountain, try and find an ice rod. Probably lament in frustration when the ice rod probably turns out to be a turtle rock, as it so often does.
Alright, so Rywek takes the dip into the bow game to give themselves the money for that. So they're gonna get their silver arrows. Yoshi just about to jump in and grab their bow, and imagine the trip up the mountain is next for them. And we have not, and the only thing we've done on the mountain so far is the Old Man and the Spectacle Rock. So we have a lot of checks to make on the mountain. So I imagine their mountain route goes Paradox Cave, and then you do Spiral Cave, drop back down, take care of Hookshot Cave, go over to the Tower of Hera, get the Ether Tablet, and then head into where you need to go. And Rywek remembering, oh wait, I defeated Aga, so I can do this a lot faster.
So, really late into the race compared to most races, we're finally checking out the east side of Death Mountain at 90 minutes in.
It's not often you see that only our second visit up to the mountain being this late into the race, but such has been the bottleneck of this seed.
And for once, Paradox Cave isn't really going to give much. The best it can give right now is Ice Rod. We've already picked up Gold Sword, we've got Blue Mare, we've got Silvers, Half Magic Rod.
And there's the Ice Rod! Now, barring... Well, we still have not... Alright, so I'd imagine Yoshi's next play is going to be... They'll probably finish checking Paradox Cave. Nope, they're saying screw it. So we need to find out what is the medallion to get into Turtle Rock. If it's Ether or Quake, Yoshi's in go mode.
Yeah. I mean, if it is Bombus, luckily it's not going to take Yoshi much time at all to go back into Paradox Cave and hunt down Bombus if it turns out to be in here.
So it's
Floating
not
Island was a piece of heart.
So it's not often that it's a medallion check that's our go mode. But we're going to transition through the portal now to find out that it is Ether Medallion, and at 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 20 seconds, Yoshi, they're going!
Honestly, Yoshi has had some really good routing in most of his race, and some excellent boss execution, so like with this, he's just going to be able to knock out Turtle Rock in one go. He can then head over to Ganon's Tower, over to Tower of Hera, clear that, and then get into Ganon's Tower.
Alright, so now Yoshi just has to gun their way through Turtle Rock and the Tower of Hera. They're already up on the mountain. Rywek has a mountain of their own to climb before they can find themselves here. They choose to ignore Desert Palace for now, so they still get to clear through Swamp as well as these two dungeons on the mountain. But it's just... Not to say that some of the routing decisions were incorrect by Rywek. Just the way that they chose to route around the Smiths led to them getting the mushroom later via the Lumberjack ledge. Or, excuse me, the Hammer Pegs. And
plus
that's...
the unfortunate detour with the pedestal.
That was something I was going to branch myself toward, but just... Yoshi, the way they chose to route what we knew, the Dwarven Craftsman had to have an item. It was either the mirror or some kind of fetch quest. It turned out to be the boots. So the boots gave us access to the bow that was on the Lumberjack ledge. Now at the Hammer Pegs outside was the mushroom, which led you to the flute, and also gave you the ability to sequence break and fake powder glitch to gain access to the mirror on Lumberjack ledge. Which that powder we still haven't seen. And until we see that powder, we're not going to be able to truly surmise what the seed wanted us to do. And there's the big key for Yoshi. And this looks to be Yoshi's race to lose at this point. It takes some really unfortunate Ganon's tower routing and just god routing by Rywek to really give him a chance, but not to discount what each of these runners has done. Speaking of these runners, this has been one heck of a seed, folks, so give them a follow.
Absolutely.
And as we're cutting our way through Turtle Rock, don't forget that this is part of the Link to the Past Randomizer League. This is a leftover Week 2 match, starting up in just about 20 minutes. We're gonna have ourselves our first of the Week 3 matches, inverted mode for Week 3. Keep your eyes out there for lots more of this Link to the Past Randomizer League action as Rywek picks up their Book of Medora.
I'd be interested to see if Rywek does decide to roost in that Bombers Temple. That could be where Powder's been lurking. The nice thing about Turtle Rock is that Go Mode Turtle Rock isn't that much different to regular Turtle Rock, so Yoshi's going to be checking out most of the items in here. Could find a powder in here, and that would be the missing piece of the puzzle, as it were. But it's not turning up yet.
Hasn't turned up yet, though. They are still holding on to a key right now. Though I do think we're still looking at a laser bridge visit.
They're going to need one key to get through here, and then either another key from here, which Yoshi finds, so...
No laser bridge today, it looks like.
Yep, no bridge. There would have been an item in the big key spot and items on laser bridge, but Yoshi's just going to skip over them.
So if one of those, so one of those may be our powder location, which tells us this was a forced double dip of Turtle Rock. Or not really a forced double dip, but we're going to have to come out of here to pick up the other items since the ice rod turned up to be in a Dark World Overworld location.
Rywek misses a couple of his fire cells there on Argus. He's actually doing it from an unusual position, attacking Argus from the side rather than from above to... Normally you do like 2 fire shots and then a sword spin to finish him off, but Rywek was attempting to attack him from the side and actually missed his shots on the first cycle. Didn't collect the shots on the second cycle, but lost a little bit of time there killing Argus.
And they needed, and Rywek needs all the time they can get. Now, unfortunately, we know that this Bombos tablet check isn't going to come up big.
Oh, I've never seen that before. Trinex started moving after his last head was blowing up. I think he'd be more concerned about the fact that he's literally exploding. Still has time to move a bit.
And we'll see how this all...
Oh, there's a powder! There's a powder from Trinex. Ouch!
Powder on Trinex! What an awful location for that to be. At least we know where that puzzle is, so the logic expects you to grab the powder from Trinex in order to complete Swamp Palace. Yuck. And just like that, just about 40 minutes later, we found ourselves in Logic, finally.
Yoshi heading into town here. If he has to go get a key from the basement, he's going to be spending a bit more time, but we're not going to have much time when Yoshi kills Moldorm for the big key guessing game, so do get ready for that. As soon as Moldorm starts exploding, we are going to be starting the big key guessing game for Ganon's Tower. If you're a subscriber to any of the Speed Gaming channels, or have donated 250 bits to any of the channels, you can enter a number between 1 and 22 to guess where the big key guessing game is, but the game's going to be lasting very little time because we're doing Tower of Hera before going into Ganon's Tower, so be ready for it.
Alright, but we have a little bit of a tower. You still have a Tower of Hera climb to be seen. So for those already getting the numbers, hold them for now. We will not be starting the game until Moldorm explodes. Or starts to explode.
we'll be stopping the game as soon as Yoshi heads into the basement, whether that be left side, right side. Normally we would do it when he enters the tower, but because we have little time, we're extending it just by a little bit extra so that before he gets to the chests.
And we had a god Hera here, as Rywek just having a little bit of unfun with that. Thanks you to ALXHML for the Twitch Prime sub. Thank you for giving speed lights here on in Speed Gaming. Alright, go ahead and get those guesses in, chat.
I'm going to go for my regular guess of 19. I'm a big fan of Ice Armors, and I'm a big fan of seeing a big key in vanilla spot, assuming you do the right side before the left side.
I personally picked 17. Looks like I got sniped, so I just threw a 4 in there for giggle. Alright, but get your guesses in fast and furious. We're about the crystals are spinning. We're heading on up the stairs. Yoshi's into Ganon's tower with a date with the king of all bacon, just a few minutes away. Rywek making their way up or around the mountain here. They have to clear through Tower of Hera and Turtle Rock, though. Perhaps they've mismarked, but I don't think they've done Desert Palace. Location 1, the fire shield. Location 2, a small key. He's heading left side.
Alright, Rywek's checking out the ether tapper here. It's not what he needs, but so just a piece of heart from the skies. Number 3 is 10 sticks on the torch, so Bob lives today. Four, 5, 6, 7 coming up here in the Stalfos room.
10 arrows.
Number 4. 300 rupees, number 5. Number 6, small key. Number 7, small key.
Alright, so we have check number 8 here coming up for Yoshi. That's just 20 bucks. We're moving on. Rywek making the way up the Tower of Hera.
Just walk away, says the hint. And that's exactly what Rywek has to do. He has to head up to Paradox Cave to pick up that ice rod. Luckily, it's a really close location, so he doesn't have to go too far out this way.
Alright, there's number 9 for Yoshi. Time to head in the rando room. Got 10 through 13 here as Rywek is taking care of Moldorm. Number 10, 20 rupees. Number 11, the map. Number 12, 20 rupees. Number 13, 5.
Guess this is where leftover cash is coming from this seed. Like early on in the race, we had tons and tons of 20 rupee drops all basically in a row. Now they're starting to come up again.
No, absolutely here.
Ooh, Rywek's gonna head into the basement of Hera.
Bombos is again in his tower.
Oh, absolutely no chance that it would be needed for Turtle Rock, luckily.
But that's, thankfully for Rywek, that's the second item, so they're gonna be able to do more of this. As Bob's chest, number 14, nothing there. So we're heading into Armos on Ice.
Better than Trinex on Ice. You ever seen Trinex on Ice? It's horrible.
Furiation, if you're out there, can we get Randomizer for next league? Alright, so 15 bombs, 16 that bombos, and 17 being nothing. Alright, so Rywek is heading into Turtle Rock now. Still has to complete Desert Palace afterward, and did they go to... They didn't go to Paradox Cave, did they?
Yeah, I hope he's just opening Turtle Rock before going in. Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing.
Nice. He's gonna check. He's gonna check Hookshot Cave.
It would be like the biggest of gambles to go into Turtle Rock before checking out Super Bunny and Paradox Cave.
Unfortunately for Rywek, just like it's just a little bit different routing as we get the nice block kick on that side. Since 18, 19, and there it is on number 20. For Yoshi, a deep dive to find that big key. And congratulations to Illis24 for getting that guess correctly. We'll get you saved up on the leaderboard. And that puts you up in, it's tied in first place with the Fear Agent with 2 wins. And there we have the Swagnet hiding out in the Hookshot Cave.
Rywek? Rywek? Did you get
No, I don't. Yo, he hasn't been to Light World.
Gotta see his menu 1 sec. Oh no, he skipped Light World. Oh dear, oh dear.
Oh no. We know the Paradox Cave is where the Ice Rod is hiding. However, to be fair, he can preserve his portal out of the laser bridge. And yes, to bring up the chat is, Rywek is not making incorrect decisions, just incorrect decisions for this particular seed. This is the nature of Randomizer, where things that you think could be correct, just this time, because things are randomized, it's coming up. I mean, and it does give you a chance, and for the one person harping on me in chat, this does allow him to finish out Turtle Rock, clear through it all, and then he can preserve his mirror portal out of the laser bridge after completing the Paradox Cave. This has just been a slight glitches in routing maybe coming up, but I think having only checked that far, the mirror's out just a little bit faster, it would seem. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and make our way back toward the Ganon's Tower as we get to satisfyingly take down all of those Wizrobes in one shot. Definitely feels good. Right, heading on back, dashing our way through. Pulling up the lamp to preserve a little bit of magic as we find the big key on Rywek's side.
Hey, at least we're going to see what's on the laser bridge. I mean, probably not going to find anything there. Maybe red mail, but...
red mail or, like, cape or... I mean, technically we haven't found any invincibility items to even put it in logic.
That is unusual, actually. Neither cape nor burner turning up.
I think Rywek, if they're reading the logic correctly, just goes and opens the bomb wall. Because if you're familiar, Laser Bridge has its own logic where it requires you to have an invincibility item. So the vanilla big key location is the red mail for Rywek, so they'll have a little bit more safety coming through, as that's the end of Moldorm 2, and we're heading on to the second required geometry test of this seed. And we get to find out that Moldorm was just holding on to 10 sticks in their last item.
It's a pretty desperate last position, 10 sticks with little bits of metal attached to the end. I think you keep some cash in there, just for emergencies.
And there's a double there for Yoshi.
Ooh, blue ball throwing him off.
There's a triple setup. Unfortunately, the blue ball there, so just getting a double. And there's an unnecessary triple to seal down the Aghanim fight. And we're heading on to the King of All Bacon, taking inventory here. We are at 15 hearts, blue mail, half magic, butter sword, silver arrows. There shouldn't be too much between Yoshi and victory, as there we finally... So right there in Mimic Cave on the right-hand side, we found logical access to Laser Bridge, just now in the Cane of Berna. What a location for that to come up. The minions failed to guard those items. Why am I surrounded by incompetent fools? These are important questions to ask yourself, Ganon.
Should put some locks on those chests, Ganon. Then you wouldn't have nearly as many problems.
And we get some dash strats here on Yoshi's side. And some nice footwork to get around most of the fire bats there. We're into phase 3.
It's really quick to get for the Ganon face with the gold sword. It does take a couple of hits from those fire bats, but Yoshi has so much health that it's not a big deal to him. Luckily we picked up the silver arrows from inside the pyramid, so... and we've got half magic, so we don't really need to worry about the torch glitch much even, so we're in a really excellent state to finish off Ganon here.
And did we find the arrows in the Dark World? You bet. Have one to the face, as he does nail the torch glitch, setting himself up for a double here. But there's the final arrow. The King of All Bacon is down. The fanfare plays. Get your GGs in chat, folks. Just a 1x3 bridge is all that separates Yoshi, and victory for Team Awesome.
Alright, Yoshi makes it across the bridge and finishes with an official SRO time of 1 hour, 51 minutes, and 36 seconds. GG.
Get your GGs in chats, folks. That was one heck of a seed. Just so much tough, just a tough seed overall. Just a absolute bottleneck caused by one item. Unfortunately, neither of our runners will be joining us for an interview, as they need to take care of some other things today. And I can now announce that Rywek did indeed choose to forfeit from this race. Cannot blame them. That led them on a ringer, and they're still looking for the ice rod. So get your GGs out there for both of these runners. This was just a tough seed. Ocelot, what are your thoughts?
Like you said, it's like one of the toughest open mode seeds I've ever seen. And there's a team in the league called Last Locations, but this was pretty much a case of last locationing almost everything. Like, this has got to be one of, like, both these runners are absolutely excellent at the game. They are seasoned veterans, they have done loads of randomizer, they know how to pull off all the tricks and such. But the seed has thrown them for a complete loop. They've just been running all over the place just to try and find the necessary items to progress. It's been crazy.
Oh, absolutely. So, breaking down what it asked us to do, we comb through all the game. We know that the hook shot is in Misery Mire, and the bow is on Lumberjack Ledge. Where are the boots? Oh, they're in mirrorless smiths. Then right outside the smiths at the hammer pegs is the mushroom. The mushroom gave us access to the flute. And where's the powder, which is locking the mirror?
Trinex.
Oh, yeah, it's hanging out on Trinex. Now, because of the way that alright, so we know both of our runners are now at the point where they have nothing left to do but check the smiths and a couple of the little checks nearby. Yoshi came up from because of just Yoshi's way, both of their ways of running it. Yoshi got to hammer pegs before doing the smiths. That allowed them to pick up that mushroom, and then they were able to fake powder almost a little bit later on, and that gave them access to the mirror much before Rywek did, because their mushroom came in much later. It's just a small little wiggle and routing ends up just being the key here, and this just last locations and sequence breaks were the big parts of this seed.
Absolutely. Now let's not hold our viewers for too long, because we have got another race starting over on Speed Gaming 4 in just a few minutes. It is going to be Road 788 versus Gem, also part of a league, and they are representing, if I just double check,
That's going to be
Yeah,
a...
Team 4K, Fourth and Forehead, and the Immortals. So that's going to be starting very shortly on Speed Gaming 4. And that's not the only event of Randomizer we've got today. Later on at 3 o'clock Eastern Time on Speed Gaming 3 and Speed Gaming 2, we have got Houston Barber for representing Missing Bow versus Ursula 415 representing Blind Bandoliers. And we've also got Old Kern representing Old Striker Jackson versus Tale from Missing Bow. So those are going to be on Speed Gaming 3 and Speed Gaming 2 later on tonight. Well, later on today. But very shortly on Speed Gaming 4, we've got our next game. So do check that out. I know I will.
Yeah, and that will be another Lake Highly division, but that will be our first game of Week 3. So that's some inverted action. I think that'll be a lot of fun to watch, and I'll be I will be able to join you at 3 p.m. for that race, for one of those races. That'll be a lot of fun. And keeping a look at what else is on the Speed Gaming network of channels today, we have some Final Fantasy 1 Randomizer on Speed Gaming 2 coming up in just a few minutes, as well as Super Metroid Randomizer League coming in right afterward. On Speed Gaming 3 later today will be that Missing Bow versus Bandoliers race, as well as some Super Metroid Prodigy. More of that being on Speed Gaming 2 later in the day. On the keeping on the main channel here, and starting at about noon Eastern, will be the Wind Waker Randomizer, with more of that happening on 4 at Speed Gaming 4 at 3 o'clock, as well as some more Super Metroid Prodigy, the weekly open race, and Kirby's Dream Land, as well as there's also some combo randomizer on Speed Gaming 5 later tonight. Lots of stuff to be seen, so keep it locked here on the Speed Gaming 4 of networks. I want to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and cut out this broadcast. Any Revolving Ocelot, any final thoughts?
Absolutely brutal, crazy seed. Well done to both these runners for persevering through it. I mean, I don't blame Rywek for forfeiting out, but because 1 out of 50 in the open mode seed is completely crazy. But GG to both guys for getting through this seed.
All right, so go ahead, and I want to send you all over to Speed Gaming 4 right now to check out 4K, Fourth and Forehead versus the Immortals. So for that, I will catch you later today. I am Bungee to the Tree. That was Revolving Ocelot. Good day and good rando, folks.
Have a good day.